A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. My name is Fabio, and in today's outlook we're going to be discussing the major dollar pairs and of course gold. So what we have first of all is EURUSD pushing up. We also had, by the way, a sell-off on USD CAD in towards the downside again, and the main reason for that upside rejection and the overall impulse in towards downside was very obviously that Trump said that the call with Trudeau went very well. We also had Trudeau saying that the proposed tariffs will be put on hold for at least 30 days, and last night as well we had China to impose tax on certain US products. So overall it seems that the dollar is getting a little bit weaker again based on this news that is coming out, and we can therefore also see that EURUSD overall has been pushing up higher. Now if you watch back yesterday's video, remember that I mentioned that you could start buying here EURUSD from this area of demand on the daily, but also based on the weekly market structure overall, because as long as this weekly low here holds, the market should continue to push up higher. Additionally, if you were to draw in a fib, you can very clearly see that we're all the way underneath that 0.618 fib retracement level. We even tapped in towards that 0.7 fib level, and the overall stop loss should therefore have been underneath the overall swing low or underneath the fractal low here on the weekly time frame, because as long as that low is respected, the market should push up higher. Now going into the daily time frame, we can then see that we have a very clear area of daily demand. We had these nice equal lows right above it over here, and from there we saw some upside rejection. Now currently this position I advise to put it to break even, as we on the lower time frame have already tapped into that daily area of supply. As you can see, exactly when we come into that daily area of supply, that is when you see the downside push once again. So currently we have demand on the daily fighting daily supply. So we're therefore now just waiting for the next move. For now, it seems good that EURUSD is ready to push up higher. So if you are in this position that we mentioned yesterday, I would advise to put it to break even and let it run with your stop loss at break even, because obviously anything can happen at this point in time. But preferably I would now see EURUSD continue pushing up higher based on the weekly time frame. Okay guys, so I still like what the weekly is doing here, and I'm very curious to see how this weekly candle will close. If I look at the daily time frame, yes, we do indeed have this daily area of supply, but that's why if you did enter here, the position should be at break even. And once the 4-hour and the daily time frame start breaking above this high over here, then we should continue pushing up higher. Here we have equal highs. Here we have indeed gotten an area of supply, but this area of supply is not very strong. Why is that? Well, because of the fact that there's no liquidity in the overall push down. So what does this mean, that there's no liquidity in the overall push down? Well, it means that there is no little bump in the road on the overall impulse in towards the lows. We can very clearly see that we get this impulse down, but there is no liquidity right underneath or right inside of that push down. Therefore, the high itself often then becomes the liquidity. Therefore, currently I am looking for some more upside on EURUSD today to take out this high and continue pushing up higher. So that's over what I am personally looking for on EURUSD. I could be wrong. We should at least take out this high over here, and we should at least continue up higher with the overall 1-hour order flow. Yesterday morning or yesterday evening, I drew out the overall 1-hour order flow, because we can very clearly see here that we had 1-hour demand. Here previously as well we had 1-hour demand, and now at this point in time again we have the sell before the buy here doing its work. Now what happened when we tapped in towards that 1-hour sell before the buy? Again guys, this is exactly what I explained yesterday. We get that order flow in towards the upside, which is nice and beautiful, and this is now what we're seeing over here, is that we get a retracement in towards the 1-hour demand. Now this initial reaction, that's where a lot of people start going long. Once again, it's kind of like a support and resistance level. Then you see, okay, the low gets liquidated here, and now we've broken the high once again. So you get a market structure shift in towards the highs, and we've now once again created therefore another area of 1-hour demand. So I'm now expecting EURUSD to push up higher from that demand zone, and at least take out this high over here. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm also expecting it to just follow that weekly overall fractal structure and yeah, push up higher. So it's nice to see if you're in this position, but let's have a look at what the dollar index is doing and those other major dollar pairs as well, because the dollar index itself here is very similar to EURUSD on the weekly time frame. Again, we can very clearly see that we tap into weekly supply. So this is weekly supply due to the fact that that's an imbalance over here that took out another area of demand, but also broke multiple levels of structure. So therefore, that's weekly supply. And then furthermore, if we look here at the weekly time frame, we can see a weekly change of character. This is the fractal high, this is the fractal low, and the market now retraces all the way into premium. So I'm now looking for some further downside to at least take out this low over here next. Going into the daily time frame, the daily is a little bit uglier in my opinion, due to the fact, very obviously, that we had a break of this high. However, the break of that high happened based on news, right? So yes, we do have indeed demand over here. However, this, let's say, upside rejection candle is not ideal to be trading this demand zone with. Therefore, I'm not really looking too much into daily structure at the moment because it's very ugly, and I'll just stick to the weekly here, and I'll only be looking for dollar longs once again once we break this weekly high over here for now. Just because of the manipulation on the lower time frame, I'm sticking definitely to the higher time frame areas of liquidity and of supply and demand. Okay, so moving on into AUDUSD. AUDUSD, man, I still have a heart attack or heartbreak from this position. If you guys remember, I was in a long position right over here with my stop loss literally over here. So just got wicked out obviously, and now I expect Aussie dollar to continue pushing up higher. This for me is just manipulation. I still expect this here to continue pushing, yes, see for the upside from myself, this is still the demand zone that is in control. You can also see that the market came all the way back up inside of that demand zone. So for now, what I'm looking for here on the daily time frame is for us to break this high. So once that high breaks on the daily, that is when I'll be looking for some skill in positions, because for myself on AUDUSD, there is still a lot of room to continue pushing up higher, because if you draw in the overall fib like this, let's just disregard this wick here as manipulation, then you can still see that there's a lot of room to push all the way back up higher in towards that 0.5 fib. So yes, I am expecting, for example, at least a push back up into, let's say, around 0.65 on AUDUSD. And let's have a look at the 4-hour time frame. So yeah, on the 4-hour time frame, what you have here is, again, very, very clear. We have this area of supply, and I'm going to keep it nice and simple for you guys. This is your buy before the sell here, and we're reacting to it, right? However, once again, there is no liquidity in the overall push down, guys. So when you have these supply zones which are, let's say, not with any liquidity inside, and how do I know that there's liquidity inside? Well, for example, what we see when we have an impulse down, we want these little bumps in the road because we expect there to be liquidity above these little bumps in the road. But if there is just one single impulse like this, and this is your supply zone, then more often than not, obviously not always, because nothing always happens in trading, but more often than not will we liquidate the high itself. So I'm now looking for that further upside on AUDUSD. I'll be looking here at the 1-hour time frame. Again, we can very clearly see that we were traced into what? Into this area of 1-hour demand. Okay, so this 1-hour demand zone is now in control. This was our previous 1-hour demand zone. What I'm now looking for is similar to what I'm looking for on EURUSD, but it already happened on euro dollar, is here on the 1 hour that we break this structural high. Okay, so this structural high is currently in control as an area of supply. So let's wait for that to go, and then we'll look for some further upside like this. Okay, and then to take out that high eventually. The only thing here which didn't happen on EURUSD yet is that we took out this high. This is like a little bump in the road. But again, Aussie dollar should follow euro dollar, and euro dollar just broke this structure. Therefore, I'm now waiting for that structure to get broken and then to see another push up higher. But yeah, for now, we still need to break this, and then longs are going to be on the table. Now, let's have a look at GBPUSD, because GBPUSD was extremely strong yesterday with a very strong daily candle close here. Again, I know a lot of you are potentially looking at shorting this. Overall, we have gotten this as your swing high on the daily, and we have this as your swing low. Okay, then if we were to draw in the fib retracement tool, we can see, okay, we made a retracement at least in towards 0.5. Now, swing structure, we understand that it's bearish. So then what do we look at? We look at fractal structure. This here is your fractal high, and this low here is going to be your fractal low. So again, overall on the fractal structure, we are also bearish. Therefore, I'm not interested at all to be looking at longs on GU, despite obviously it should follow EU. But overall, what we have here now is, again, another daily fractal break in towards the downside. So this area of demand obviously broke. However, again, this is manipulation. So in theory, we are still respecting this area of demand. So we're seeing the push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up, retracement, and now we're looking for kind of like that next push up, and it should follow EURUSD. What I'm going to be looking for on GU ultimately is just a break of this high over here. So this is your kind of like your internal daily fractal high. the high of this bearish candle here, and then once that breaks, I'll be looking for some further upside, and then this obviously becomes demand. Then I'll go in towards the lower time frame, being the 4 hour and the 1 hour, to identify the next areas of demand on it. Looking here on the 4 hour, again, very similar. Yes, we have gotten a supply zone over here, but the supply zone is not very strong in my opinion. There's no real liquidity. We have a lot of equal highs still above it, so I'll be looking to take out those equal highs first. Mainly this dotted line here should be taken out on GU. I could be wrong, but that's pretty much what I'm looking for. For now, we're inside this area of demand over here. Again, very similar to what I was looking at on AUDUSD. What I need to have here is a clean break above this. So I want to see like a candle close above it and then look for that upside continuation. So that's GU, and then looking for NZDUSD. NZDUSD itself, again, all these dollar pairs are very, very similar in structure. So I could be wrong on them, right? We could just head down lower. The thing with NZDUSD is I don't like that we still have those weekly lows open over here. For myself, that's just very, very low probability to be trading it. Looking here at the daily as well, daily fractal structure is still bearish. Daily candle close yesterday was still bearish. Supply order flow is still in control. So what I'll be waiting for is for this daily fractal high to be taken out, and that is the only moment that I'm going to be looking for potential longs, guys. So once that gets taken out, then I'll be looking for longs. But for now, my only focus is on EURUSD, and on NZDUSD, I'll wait for a little bit more confirmation, just because manipulation on NU is a lot higher always. Again, very similar to the other pairs. Pretty much the structure is just exactly the same, to be honest. We don't have liquidity in the push down, so for myself, this is a very low probability setup. Yes, it could push down lower, but preferably I would at least want to see this high get taken out today once again, and then obviously shorts will only happen once we break the lows again, like this. Otherwise, what will happen is that we'll just continue with the order flow up higher, break that daily fractal high, and then we'll continue to look for long. So again, no trades at this moment until we break this black line, and it's pretty much the same on GBPUSD and those other pairs, waiting for at least liquidation of the high for shorts, because then we need to break down lower again, and then we get like a fresh supply zone inside of a supply zone, including liquidation. So that's the only kind of short setup that I personally would be waiting for. I wouldn't be looking at shorts at this moment in time, but that's just my personal experience and my personal preference. Then we have gold. Last of all, gold continued back up higher in towards the all-time high. This is how strong those 0.5 fib levels are. I wasn't interested again in looking for those shorts here. Yes, the market could have pushed down lower yesterday from this buy before the sell. Then we would have looked for longs inside here. Obviously the trend is up, and this is why the trend is always your friend, guys, because here we can very clearly see the trend is up, right? So you don't really want to be shorting this, because you're again shorting against the trend, and we already made a 0.5 fib retracement pullback. So yeah, again, we saw the further upside continuation. Also on the lower time frame inside of that supply zone, there was no bearish confirmation at all. Yes, we had supply, for example, let's say over here, but then again, you see somewhat of a rejection, but there's no fractal structure shift inside of the supply zone. So there's no like market structure shift like this, no change of character inside it, confirming that that would have been supply. So this is more like a seller's trap. And then we just continue up higher, obviously, with the overall momentum and the overall trend. Now what I'm looking for again is just, once again, further upside, just following the overall trend. This here obviously is the 0.5 fib, which I preferably always want to see hit. Looking here at the daily, daily is also still bullish. So again, I'm not looking at shorts at all on gold, only looking at longs. But what we now need is the lower time frame to kind of like provide us with some setups. So what we now have here is very nice, because we have gotten the 50-minute order flow. So this is now your demand zone. This is now kind of like the bottom of the range here that got liquidated, because here you can see the market is just moving sideways. Then we liquidate kind of like a range low here, and now it should push back up again, because we still have liquidity above this range high over here, this dotted line. So what I'm now looking for is just that upside continuation. Let's see if we can break this high. If we can break that high, then I expect that dotted line also to get taken out. So and then potentially just continue holding it into an all-time high. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day, and speak soon.